YouTube. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you're tuning in from, on whatever device you are listening on. My name is Jay Smoove, and you are listening to the Jay Smoove Patriots video podcast. This is episode number 4, and first I want to start off by apologizing for the recent absence. I was away for the weekend and was caught up being a little busy. However, today we are going to dive into all the most recent Patriot acquisitions. In advance, I will say that this video podcast may be slightly longer. However, it is going to be very informational, so I strongly suggest you listening through and through. In addition, I'm going to try something different because before, in the previous episodes, I have had pictures of players that I was talking about. However, for this one, since I'm going to be covering a lot of players, I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit and just have the team logo going across throughout the entire video podcast. If this is something you guys rather see, let me know in the comments below. If you guys want the picture of the players instead, also let me know. Either or works for me. However, let's dive into these Patriots signings. I'm going to first start off with the re-signing of John Simon at 2 years, $7.2 million contract. I think that's a good deal. Simon was exceptional in spurts, in moments when we needed a big play. I feel like he was one of those guys that was there making said big play. I think 2 years is just right, and I think the money value is perfect for the type of player and the type of role that he'll have. He'll be great alongside Michael Bennett. He'll be great alongside Derek Rivers, Dietrich Wise on that D line. In addition, Patriots brought back Philip Dorsett on a 1-year deal. I wasn't able to find the value for that contract. I looked everywhere for like an hour, and it just couldn't come up. But I heard that it's somewhere between the $1 to $2 million range. I could be highly wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I heard on the radio. If you have the exact number, please comment down below so I can get my facts correct. Going on Dorsett's contract, this is a great contract, especially since we have no wide receivers, no established wide receivers on our roster with the exception of Julian Edelman. Josh Gordon's still a question mark. Chris Hogan still a free agent. We struck out on Golden Tate and Adam Humphries, so bringing back Dorsett I feel like was a major key for the Patriots. Now we're going to go into players that the Patriots signed as free agents, and a lot of these moves, I'm going to say all of these moves, are just roster fillers, depth chart fillers. So I'm very biased towards whether it's a good contract or bad contract, because what the player is going to do for this team, his value could be completely different from my point of view. So my opinion, I think all of these contracts are pretty bad except like the 1 year under $1 million contracts, but that's just me, especially when we're so tight with the cap. I'm just going to go straight into it. Defensive tackle David Perry, 1 year, $760,000. We need depth at the D line, especially defensive tackle, so I think that's a pretty good deal right there. Brandon Bolden's coming back to the Patriots on a 2-year, $3.7 million deal. Now, he's technically listed as a running back, but he is a special teamer at heart, and the Patriots did struggle a little bit covering special teams. So I feel like bringing him back was a good move. However, for that price tag, it is kind of questionable. We'll see how that goes, and he won't be able to burn us again in Miami like he did this past season. Defensive back Terrence Brooks, I heard he plays free safety, but he's listed as a defensive back, so he might be able to move around a little bit. But a 2-year, $3.25 million contract, I think that's a little pricey for essentially going to be a backup safety when you have Devin McCourty, Deron Harmon, Patrick Chung. You have Duke Dawson coming off of IR. So you got bodies back there, so I feel like that contract's a little questionable in my opinion. Moving on to wide receiver Bruce Ellington, 1 year, $895,000 contract. He is, like I said, just depth chart filler, especially before we re-signed Dorsett. It was just Julian Edelman on that depth chart. So bringing him kind of gives us a little depth. He is on the smaller side. This next wide receiver, Maurice Harris, he's 6'3". He has some size. 1 year, $1 million contract. that's at like right at the border of where I'd go. I feel like both of them aren't going to make the official team, so I do give the edge to Maurice Harris though, due to his size, though he is not proven as well. It's just going to be interesting to see how the Patriots and how Belichick figures out the wide receiver core, because these two guys right here are straight bums in my opinion. However, it's still early in the offseason. Trades could happen. Draft is coming up in a couple of weeks. Tight end Matt Lacoste, not sure how to pronounce his last name. 2 years, $2.8 million contract. I feel like you're just overpaying for a backup or a third tight end, especially someone that's not as good as who you want him to be, because in the past you brought in Scott Chandler, established. You brought in Martellus Bennett, who was established. You brought in Dwayne Allen, who was established, all to be the backup tight end. And honestly, the only one out of those three worked was Martellus Bennett. And bringing in Matt Lacoste to be the backup or even the third tight end behind Jacob Hollister, I feel like it's just a waste of money. I understand. I know you need to fill the depth chart. I know you got to get bodies on the roster. However, I just question what is Belichick doing, especially when our cap is so tight. The one contract that I do like from the free agents that we signed was defensive lineman Mike Pennell. We got him from the Jets, 2 years at $5 million. And I say this is a good deal because after losing Malcolm Brown, we do need to get a D-tackle, nose tackle body in there. Mike Pennell is pretty good D lineman. He played for the Jets, like I mentioned, last season, and he wasn't terrible. I mean, is he 2 years, $5 million worth? We'll find out. But on the surface, especially where we need bodies and we need established players, especially on defense, I feel like that could be a silently good move for the Patriots. So I will give Belichick props on that one. However, the cap is tight. Patriots have the second smallest cap room among all 32 teams. They are estimated to be at $8 to $9 million in cap left. Now, it could be a lot tighter. However, the Patriots did release Adrian Clayborn, which freed up $3.9 million on the cap. Apparently, he requested his release from the Patriots. I'm not sure why, but he did, and Belichick released him, which freed up, like I said, almost $4 million in the cap. I mean, he would have been playing with Michael Bennett, Simon. So, I mean, maybe he just wanted to go somewhere else where he could play more, where the money doesn't matter to him. Because I don't know if he's going to find almost $4 million. Now, I know the cap in the real dollars is different, and I'm not sure how his contract was broken down. However, I feel like I don't know what his value is going to be on the open market to this day, as I'm recording on Tuesday, March 19th. I haven't heard anything on Adrian Clayborn since his release. So it'll be interesting to see how his market develops. But overall, on the Patriots free agent signees and re-signing of players, I'd give them a grade of, honestly, a C-. And I'm being very generous because bringing back John Simon was a good move. Bringing back Philip Dorsett was a great move. And then the free agents that they brought in were just, in my opinion, question marks. I mean, I can't stress enough that I know you need to fill the depth chart. You got to get bodies on the roster. You can always cut them in the preseason, but it makes me just curious what Belichick has in mind, what he wants to do with this team for the 2019 season. And there have been pictures floating around out there that he was in the Bahamas all of free agent week. So is he lacking? Is he actually working? Who knows? But it currently seems like that he doesn't really care about this 2019 season. However, we do have the draft to look forward to in a couple weeks. We do have possible trades that could happen between now and opening night. So we'll definitely have to see how the Patriots finish this offseason, though we're still in the early stages, but all the big names are basically off the board. I feel like the Patriots should still pursue a veteran wide receiver. Michael Crabtree's out there. Randall Cobb is still out there. Jordy Nelson just got released from the Raiders, so maybe bringing in one of those guys would be a great help to Brady and that wide receiver core. Gronkowski is still a question mark. He doesn't know if he wants to play or not, and that would free up $11 million right there if he does retire. If he doesn't, he counts as 11 towards the cap. I want him to come back personally, but if he's not going to come back, I'd rather him say that now so the Patriots can do something with his money. That was a lot of information that kind of covers the entire weekend and leading up to today, March 19th. So that's going to do it for this video podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I do want to apologize for the brief absence in video podcasts. However, that shouldn't happen again moving forward. If it does, I will do my best to let you listeners know. If you agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video podcast, please comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you for listening to Jay Smoove's Patriots video podcast. My name is Jay Smoove, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.